light and completely camouflaged. In this episode of Plants and Light, we look at the color that plants can barely see: green light.
Plants generally reflect green light. That's why they appear green, and they absorb most of the other colors. The human eye is very sensitive to green light. Our eyes crave it. If you've ever been in a grow room with just blue and red LEDs, you'll notice everything looks green once you walk out of the room. That's how much your eye wants green in the spectrum. Well, plants have difficulty seeing green. Many growers take advantage of this by using green light to check plants during the night without interrupting the plant's photoperiod. This was shown in episode 2, where short day plants continued to flower even though they were exposed to green light during their night cycle. It's also important to consider the intensity of that light. If it's too intense, it can trigger photoperiodic responses, but at low intensities, it can be used safely. There's a lot of green light options, and it's a really good idea to have one of these around if you ever want to check in on your plants during their night cycle. A lot of growers like to run their lights at night, and there's a lot of reasons for this. It's cooler outside, so you have less cooling costs. It's usually cheaper to run your lights at night because that's when the electricity costs are the lowest. But these same growers also want to work with their plants during the day. So what they'll do is they'll put some green lights in their grow so they can see their plants and work with them without interrupting the plant's night cycle. And really, for any grower, it's a good idea to have a green light because you never know when you have to check in on your plants during their night cycle. You might have a flood or a pump failure, or there's just so many reasons why you might have to go in and check on them. But if you don't have a green light, you might run the risk of interrupting their flowering cycle. Early research in horticultural lighting seemed to suggest that green light doesn't really power much photosynthesis. But this research was only conducted on a single leaf. Further research that looked how light affects the entire plant, well, it saw that green light actually goes through the plant canopy and can power photosynthesis in the lower leaves. Green light has also been shown to reverse some of the blue light stimulated responses like phototropism and stomatal opening. It's been shown that if you give a plant a flash of green light after a flash of blue light, it'll actually reverse the stomatal opening and they'll close on up. Welcome to a typical indoor grow. This garden's using blue and red LEDs, which the plants love, but it can be difficult for a grower to work in this environment. Some people get headaches when working around this color of light, but for me, it's just difficult to diagnose my plants. It's hard to see, are they healthy? Are the leaves yellow? That's why it's really helpful to have glasses that add green to your vision. The human eye is super sensitive to green color. It's the color that the eye is most sensitive to. So when you add green with green tinted glasses, it's amazing how everything changes. For the better. There's two main applications of green light. There's checking crops during the night without interrupting the photoperiod, and there's powering photosynthesis in the lower canopy. The first application we've covered pretty thoroughly, but the second one is pretty interesting. A lot of indoor growers heavily prune their lower leaves, and there's a lot of reasons for that, including airflow. But another reason is a lot of the leaves in the lower canopy are actually using more energy than they create. Because the light can't penetrate and reach them, they aren't able to photosynthesize a lot, so they're actually just using resources from the rest of the plant just to be there instead of providing to the plant. But it's
possible with the inclusion of green light in the spectrum that light will actually penetrate through the canopy and power photosynthesis in some of these lower leaves and reduce the amount of pruning required. Some grow lights that provide green in their spectrum are metal halides, ceramic metal halide, high pressure sodium, double-ended high pressure sodium, T5 fluorescence, white LEDs. This has been episode 5 of Plants and Light. In the next episode, we take a stop at red light. I'm Farmer Tyler, and the more you know, the better you grow. This episode was made possible with support from Hydro Farm. In this episode, we saw the Active Eye green LED flashlight, work light, and cap light. We saw the Sunburst CMH, or ceramic metal halide, the Sunburst DE HPS, or double-ended high-pressure sodium light, the Solar System 550, the PowerPar commercial 4-foot LED fixture, the Jumpstart T5 48-watt 4-foot LED strip reflector fixture, the Jumpstart 24-watt 2-foot LED strip reflector fixture, and all types of other strip reflector fixtures.